What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Alatorre. Join the family, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to angle my face this way because this pimple is not letting me live my best life. No. I am actually stepping out tonight. I'm going to an event and I thought, why not film myself getting ready for tonight's event. If you don't like to hear me talk a lot, I don't talk a lot in this video because I'm actually running a bit late. I was supposed to leave at 6:30. It's 6:32 and I still have to shoot this look, take some photos. So today's your lucky day if you don't like hearing my voice. And if you like this look and want to see how I got it, just keep on watching. Starting off con los ojos today because I'm going to be using mainly creams, and yeah, that's what I'm doing today. So I'm going to start by sort of contouring and outlining the shape that I'm going to create with the eyeshadow using this Dose of Colors cream matte eye color in the shade Rodeo. I'm going to pick it up on a LH304 brush. By the way, I wore a hat to the gym. It wasn't the best decision I've ever made prior to filming, but we're hopefully just gonna let these hat marks go away while I work on the eyes. So I'm gonna pick it up directly onto the brush, and then we don't want a lot to go on at once, so I like to kind of just work it onto the back of my hand before hitting the eye with it because we want it to look really, really soft. So we're gonna outline this shape, starting out here, and then working it into the crease. See how it's really pigmented? So you want to be able to work with the product and blend it out and diffuse it. You don't want to start off with too much and then have it be too dark. And make sure you're using a synthetic brush because if you use a natural bristle brush and a cream, you're going to ruin your brush. And then with my eye open, I like to take a look at where this wing is going to go. So I'm going to start brushing it out in this direction like this. And I'm also going to apply this shadow to the lower lash line. And then with that same brush, but a clean one, I'm just gonna make the edges look a little softer. So I'm using a clean brush just to make sure I'm not adding any more color and it just looks really soft. And again, this is just providing us with an outline for the blue eyeshadow. Now for the really fun part, I'm gonna be using this new Smith & Colt Glitter Baby Metallic Shift Eyeshadow in the shade Royal Blue. Look at this. Ugh. It's just so pretty. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I have to put it on my eyes and recreate that blue look I did a while back. But last time I did it, it was all with powder eyeshadows, and this really makes it pop. So we're gonna follow that little outline we created and create this dramatic winged eyeshadow look. So I'm gonna start with the lid. Look at that color, guys. Oh, do you die? It is so beautiful. So start on the lid. So I'm literally creating this eyeshadow shape with the applicator. And then also look straight forward so that you make sure that when you're winging it, your lid isn't eating up that wing. Look straight forward and go a little bit above the crease. And then also a little bit down here, just to connect that wing. Now, before I do anything to this, I'm gonna let it dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And then we're gonna further adjust this and add some shadow, a little bit of dimension. Now to clean up this edge out here, make it really sharp, I'm gonna go in with the foundation I know I'm gonna be using tonight, the All Hours Foundation by YSL in shade BD45. I'm gonna take a flat concealer brush. This one will do. It is a Dose of Colors concealer brush. So I'm picking up a little bit of that foundation onto the brush. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of run it under here. And I'm gonna do the same right up here just to get that really nice sharp edge. And then with a little kabuki brush, this is a Smashbox blurring a concealer brush. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush this out. We're still gonna add foundation to our skin, obviously, because I'm not wearing anything. So this will all just blend out afterwards. But for right now, so it doesn't sit there like that, I'm gonna go ahead and brush it out. Also adding a little bit of that foundation to the brow bone just to soften the look of that first brown cream eyeshadow that we added. See how that looks softer now? Adds a little bit of dimension, a little color versus just blue. I wish I had an eyeshadow palette that had a black eyeshadow and also the right shade of blue in it. Unfortunately, I could not find one. So apologies because I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth between two completely random eyeshadow palettes. But just know, all you have to do is match the blue with an eyeshadow you already have and also a black eyeshadow. So I'm gonna take this Natasha Denona Tropic palette. It's got the perfect blue, look at it, perfect, Tiger Lily. I'm gonna pick it up on this LH303 brush and use that to set that cream. So I'm just gonna apply it directly over top of the cream blue eyeshadow. This is unreal looking, like what? It looks like water. So now I'm going into this, I Think I Love You palette from Colourpop just for this black eyeshadow. Again, any black eyeshadow will do. And I'm taking a small Morphe M213 brush, and I'm going to apply it to the very, very point to add that dimension. And then also have it run along the lash line right here to make that point. And it's okay if you have fallout because we have to still add foundation. I honestly could have waited to clean up the wing until after the shadows so it wasn't so messy, but I got a little impatient there. So I'm gonna take a makeup wipe to clean up that fallout, and then I'm gonna do the same thing again that I did before with the foundation to sharpen it up, because see how it's not as sharp now? Should have waited, Melissa. I don't really like to use makeup wipes. I know a lot of people do, but I just feel like it takes away from all the skincare you added. I try to just run it right here, not everywhere else. And if I need to, I'll go back in with my eye cream, which was the NARS Skin Total Replenishing Eye Cream, and just add a little more right here, because you also don't want your foundation and concealer to look dry after, you know? And you kind of removed that when you use a wipe. And then we're gonna go back in and clean up that wing. And that's all for the eyes, really. I'm just gonna add some individual lashes and mascara after this. Actually, I'm also gonna run a little bit of that black eyeshadow right here, just so it looks connected, because if not, I feel like it goes black and then blue. And I'm gonna run a little more of the blue liquid shadow right under here. Kind of lied to you guys because I'm not quite done with the eyes. I'm going to tightline with a black liner. This is Caviar by Dose of Colors. And I'm gonna keep the black mainly out here. And then go in with this blue liner, Splash, also by Dose of Colors, more towards the inner corner part of the eye. All right, so now I'm gonna pop on some individual lashes. I'm just gonna do it really quickly because I think I'm gonna do an updated tutorial for you guys in detail. I'm gonna do that, mascara, and then zoom on out for the face. So these are the lashes I'm using, the Not Free Naturals by Ardel in the length medium and the black duo glue. I actually don't even think adding lashes is gonna be worth it because you're not gonna really be able to see it with this eye look. Looking a little crazy right now, but always trust the process. So just to make sure I don't have any fallout, I'm taking my NARS Skin Luminous Moisture Cream, and I'm going to work a little more onto the skin just to make sure there's no fallout. Usually it kind of like surprises you as you're adding your foundation, especially right here on the nose. So just add a little more. It's also gonna help with the blending of your shadow. So I'm just using the moisturizer to blend out any fallout. And then for my foundation, I'm gonna use that same All Hours foundation, BD45. I'm going to first apply it with my finger. I always like doing this because I feel like the foundation ends up looking more skin-like. And this is one of my go-to event foundations. It never fails me. It always lasts. It always looks good. Once I've gotten it on there pretty good, I'm taking my Ofra Perfecting Puff and blending it all out. Also, this looks pretty crazy without any brows. I feel naked. For concealer, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. This doesn't really highlight my face as much, and I don't want an intense highlight. I want it to look a little more, I mean, I'm not going for a natural look whatsoever, but I want the skin to look pretty clean, and I feel like this is just gonna make the under eyes a little brighter, give a little coverage to that blemish that is trying to come back to life. See how it's not like too bright, but it's definitely gonna highlight just a bit. And we also want to brighten up these under eyes because of all that shadow. And once I set with powder, it won't move around anymore. Because right now it's kind of moving everywhere because it's creamy. There's a bunch of cream product like foundation and eye cream. So it's going to move around. But once we set with powder, the eyeshadow underneath won't move. And now I'm going to set everything with the trusted Laura Mercier Translucent powder. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do the under eyes so that that cream eyeshadow doesn't move around. I'm going to pick up the powder onto the Ofra sponge. I always want to say beauty blender. And I'm going to press it right up against that shadow. I read somewhere that this is a technique that Mario does, Kim Kardashian's makeup artist. He calls it sandbagging or something like that, where he presses the powder up against shadow to prevent it from shifting around. So I'm gonna let it sit there for a bit just to make sure we lock in that shadow. And then I'm gonna set the rest of my face with that same powder. Went a little crazy on that side, but that's okay. We want it to be locked in, and afterwards, that looks wrong. Afterwards, when I mist myself, it'll all look really natural. So I'm gonna take my favorite Hourglass brush and just lightly set everywhere else so I'm not super shiny. And again, I am going to an event. It's It's probably gonna get hot and sweaty like all events, and we want this makeup to last. I also feel like you have to powder everything because when you hug people at these events, especially if they're wearing white, it's like a disaster. Like the makeup will end up on their shirt. I'm gonna fill in my brows really quick as well with my Dior brow styler while I let that powder set in a bit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and dust away that powder underneath my eyes and give myself a mist so I don't look as powdery. I'm just lightly dusting it away. And that shadow should be pretty locked in there now. And I'm going to mist myself with Fix Plus. All right, we're gonna move at rapid pace now because I have got to go. I'm running out of time. So I'm going to highlight the skin first. I always like to do highlighting first because I feel like it ends up looking a little more blended and natural. I fell in love with this NARS Exposed cheek palette. The colors in here are so beautiful. I'm gonna be highlighting with this guy right here. I feel like I still have the hat marks. What the heck? I noticed it because I was highlighting and I was like, what are those dents on my head? They'll go away soon though. Hopefully by the time I get to the event. With LA traffic, they'll be gone by the time I get there. And then to bronze my skin, I'm gonna be using my favorite, the Armani Neo Nude Powder in shade 6.5 and the other end of that hourglass brush. See, this is why I do my face first. I feel like I start to doubt my makeup when I don't have everything else done. I'm like, I don't know if that looks right. But then once it's all done and put together, it looks so much better. Like I said, trust the process. Trust the fugly. Grabbing a smaller brush to run this along the side of the nose. This is a Smith 230. And if you ever have foundation in your hair, product in your hair, always take a makeup wipe and clean it up because it'll show up in photos. It'll look like there's a cast, like a white film on your hair. So just run it along the hairline. And I feel like it almost slicks back your hair too. Double duty. I feel like my face is looking really tan. I might have to wear a turtleneck to tonight's event. So I'm gonna go ahead and add brow gel to make my brows look a little bushier. For mascara, I'm using Too Faced Better Than Sex. And on my lower lashes, I'm using Voluminous Waterproof in brown black. Always brown black on the lower lashes. It looks more natural, and if it does transfer, it's not as dramatic as black. But that one never really transfers. For blush, I'm gonna be using the Giorgio Armani Fluid Sheer in shade number 11. This is my favorite also for really dramatic looks because it looks really natural. I just pick it up on a sponge and pat it on. It somehow works really well over powder as long as you use a sponge and apply it very lightly. I've tried it with a kabuki brush and it totally moved my foundation I had on underneath. So as long as you tap really lightly with a sponge, it should work over top of your foundation, concealer, and powder that you've already set in place. I almost forgot, for an inner corner highlight, I was like, I want something that's kind of like a light blue to complement this look. I don't want to dip into another palette, and then I realized that this Natasha Denona palette has this one over here called Mint Frost, so I'm gonna use that as an inner corner highlight. My car's here! Ah! For my lip, I'm just adding Fenty's Gloss Bomb. Gotta get out of here. I'm gonna be late, but in LA, you just always blame it on the traffic. That is a wrap on this look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I gotta run out the door as fast as I can before I get yelled at. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. If you did, give it a like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Mwah!